best of 3 winner moves on to a semifinal to play against the United States next weekend. And we'll be watching Reese here today, undoubtedly the best inwarder in the game. Recently got up to lounge rank #1. And he'll be trying to solo break into this French top 4 already. And I don't know if we have any other perspectives here today, as he gets redded out very early in the race, sending back all the way to last. And so yeah, we're off and running on the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe World Cup quarterfinal. And as we see, as I mentioned the England lineup here, one of the key players I think today for England, other than Reese, will be Ryans. He plays for Team RK, which is not what you would expect, a team consisting of a lot more Hispanic or Spanish-speaking players, despite being from England himself, as we see Velocity trailing a bomb here late lap 1. And so we're already into lap 2. We see very tight pack still, as I don't think we have another perspective at the moment. And so for that, we'll have to guess, as Reese unable to get past Power and his green shells. And yeah, so England definitely the underdogs here today, as they will have to get off to a good start. I think that's the key for England today, as they lost to Spain in their first match by 32, and after that came back with 3 very strong performances to secure their spot in this quarterfinal. And they're playing by far their best test in France. And yeah, we see like a top 4. It looks like it's a big break for France. I saw them break the blue shell here. And yeah, so Reese desperately going to stay in the back here. Maybe a shock's in play because he is stopping. It's probably that desperation time now for England. As Reese going all over the place. You see how spread out this pack is. Actually very unusually spread out for Wario Stadium. And yeah, France currently in top 4, actually. It looks like they're top 4 broken as Reese has resorted to going for shock, and it's not going to happen. And so things are not looking good for England at the moment here. And this is not the kind of start. I'm afraid this might be a top 4 or 5 for France. We'll see what happens here at the end. And this is not the start that England is looking for whatsoever, unless somebody was able to break into that spot. And no, it actually looks like it's a top 5 for France. So an unbelievable start for French. For the French here, already off to a huge start. And yeah, so that's just not the start that England is looking for at all. And I mentioned it's a best of 3, so you know England can definitely not. They don't have to win this game, but being the underdogs, I think it would be important for them to compete early on in this match. And so far, not doing so, already down over 30 points, and not getting their not getting their dry pick either, as we're going to Dolphin. As I'm currently trying to battle two different stream point of views that are at different times, so I apologize if I seem a little bit lost as to what's going on. This match was originally scheduled for tomorrow, I believe, but it got moved up to noon today, noon Eastern time, that is. As we see all the Link Streetles here for France, really committing to that Dolphin Shoals running draft track. And yeah, so off to a great start. As we are now on Valor's perspective, he gets redded out immediately, so at least some of England is going to break into the top spots. All the links look like they're going to be French, as this track obviously a very good underwater track for the Streetle, and France taking full advantage of that. We'll see if that's able to help them. We see some Rosalinas up there on the top as well. I would presume that would be Team France as well. Yeah, I mentioned that England are one of the top seeds. They actually finished in the quarterfinal stage of the tournament in 2019. This is the exact spot where they lost last time. They lost to Germany in the quarterfinal 2 years ago, and here again against France in this year's quarterfinal. Unlike last edition, there is no double elimination, so it's win or go home. And if England are not able to do so, their run will come to an end quicker than they would have liked. Being a top 4 seed, they actually kind of lost their advantage after losing to Spain, because if they would have beaten Spain, they'd probably be playing against Mexico, which with all due respect, I think Mexico is not as strong a team as France. But either way, they have their task set up for them here today, as we see Reese in first place. So Reese able to hold on into first, going into lap 3. We'll see if Valor is able to do anything with that. We see pack is pretty spread out. And I'm getting sniped, I think, from behind. So maybe Steven's making that snipe. So a good play there, but he's going to get punished for it, as we see France occupying 2-3. Maybe not, though. Toad looks like he got bumped off the pipes there. And going for the snipe on Reese, I don't think he connected. Oh, so Reese holding a very crucial first right now. We see Flokes coming up, Valor coming up with a green shell here. Oh, somebody getting backed as well, so a lot going on right now. And Reese going for the double box, and I think that's the right choice, but I don't know if Floke's might be able to pass him with the glider strat here. As Valor tries to go for the hero snipe, but it looks like Flokes is able to pass him, and that's a 2-3, looks like, for England. So good response from the English. And yeah, so 2-3, 7-8, but a bottom 2, so it's still going to be a winning race for France. And so France off to a good start. England, though, kind of nullifying the damage to some degree, so at least they were able to hang in there, and as we get the scores popped up. So good start for Team France. As we show here, this is just happened a moment ago. Reese able to avoid the random green shell, holding on to second place. Nothing you could do really to take first, as Flokes did that glider strat, which is definitely a big time saver for sure. And so yeah, definitely a good start for France, but England nullifying the damage. And we'll see if they're able to pull up here. And yeah, France, I mentioned, they won their group in the group stage, winning by over 150 every single match. So France not having really any trouble in the group stage. Their closest game was a 128-point win against Belgium, and that was their closest game. They won by as many as 194. So France yet to be tested in this edition of the World Cup. And definitely England will be their toughest test. England coming in as the 4 seed might have surprised some people. A lot of people thought maybe Germany should be the team in that 4 spot, but England got it regardless, and England kind of not winning their group, only getting second, but still pulling through. And so having to play a tougher matchup because of this, as we're now going to TikTok clock, France getting their track pick again. I think that's 3 in a row now for France. And yeah, so what can England do here? This is definitely really important. I apologize for not having any other caster with me at the moment. Again, mentioning that the match was rescheduled to be earlier than we expected as a media team, so we are doing our best with what we have at the moment. As France is... Oh, looks like Reese trying to go for a snipe here early on. TikTok clock, one of the classic runners in the game, but it looks like a top 4 already for France. And that's exactly what they wanted, as Reese trying to carry the torch himself. Going for maybe a banana snipe, who knows? I mentioned Reese just broke into lounge number 1, only the second Grandmaster in our lounge this season, making all the inward haters doubt themselves, because he's proven that it can be done with inward. And we'll see how that affects in the war here, as how he plays with the team, as he gets hit out immediately. And there are now bottom 3 for England, and not off to a good start here. As we switch back to Valor, who currently in 10th. So both our POVs in the back as we see him get sniped by Reese. So nice play there. And it looks like he's gonna play in the back here. Look for a shock to go on shock duty. Very important in this game to go for that. As we really don't know who's in the front, but I'm gonna imagine it's at least the top 2 for France, because that's what we last saw. As Reese surviving here in 8th, having to use his dodge earlier than he would have liked for sure. And heading into lap 3, can England break into the top 2? We see Reese trying his best, but he's surrounded by green shells of all kinds. And it looks like they're in 4-5, maybe 3-5. We see Velocity back there as well. And yeah, it's very important. I think if France starts to run away with this match, being only game 1 of the best of 3, we'll see how England can adjust. But getting the fire on Toads, that's actually big. Velocity able to get that fire. It looks like a 3-4 for England, as Reese having to discard. And getting bumped off the Nisk, going for a lap 3 Nisk. It's not going to pay off for Reese, as he's going to blow many spots from that mistake. Oh, and this could be another good race for France. We're about to see, and yes, it is a 1, 2, 4, 6, 9, 10. So a great start for France, making a statement here, yet to be challenged. And so far, things are going very well for them. And it looks like they're up 60 points, over 60 points after 3. And yeah, off to a great start now for France. And I mentioned England lost their first match to Spain by 32. They were able to regroup, though, winning by 110, 184, and 316 versus Brazil. So other than that Spain match, England hasn't been really challenged either. But now we're definitely going to see how they react to a challenge, because this would definitely be their toughest matchup they've ever had in the World Cup. Team England actually didn't play as Team England back in 2019. They played as Team UK. and with not many differences in the lineups today's age, but they only made it to the quarterfinals. And I would argue they're definitely a lot stronger now than they were in 2019, despite only being England rather than all of UK. And as the football Euros come on this Sunday, is it coming home for England? We're about to see, but in terms of the World Cup, it's so far not looking so good for England. So we will see if they're able to come back. France getting another track pick, however. And yeah, one of the things that makes this French team so good is, they play together all the time. They're only consisting of two teams, World Friend and Requiem. So they play together. They play together for years. So they know when to bag. They know how to play in the pack. They absolutely know how to go for shock. And, things that definitely these England players know how to do. However, this English team is consisting of players from many different teams. And I'll go through it real quick. Joebo and James playing for High Definition. So they play together a bit for sure, but Ryan's playing for RK, as I mentioned, so he never really plays with these guys other than during World Cup time. Stevens plays for Arcadia. He's been a long-time member for Arcadia as far as I can remember. Reese playing for Secret X, just getting into the semifinal in Division 1, their first season. So a lot of very strong players, as you'd expect here in the quarterfinal of a World Cup. But kind of the team chemistry is something that we have to look out for England, as Reese getting fired off the glider. And it looks like at least some top spots. I think Valor just got blued out of first, so the blue shell did go for France and did connect, as it looks like Dax is up there for France as well in second. As you see, some England up here, though, so this is actually looking okay for England, as they look like they're 2-4-5. We see Starlo with the bomb. He's going to get both James and Reese, but a shot coming in, and I think that had to be an England shock, as Ryan's dodging it. And so, yeah, we'll see if they're able to come through, because England desperately need a winning race, down by over 60 points after 3. As Reese going for the red, avoiding the bomb. I didn't know where that came from, but he's still going to get punished either way. So I think that first place player will be Ryan's, who he's the one who dodged. I think the only player who dodged. But other than that, it's kind of a 50-50 in the rest of the pack, as we see England in 10-11. And if that was their shock, they're probably in last. Going back to Valor as well. And so this could be another bottom 3 for England. This would not be good for them by any means. As Valor gonna use a star in a great position here, get himself all the way up into 6th place, maybe 5th. Okay, or 7th. Same difference. And so Ryan's able to hold on to first for England. That's actually their first winning race, I believe. That's a 1-4-5. They didn't get bottom 3 like I thought they might. So that's actually not a bad race for England there. So they're kind of getting their footing in a little bit. And so good response from England, actually winning on Hyrule Circuit, which was World Friends track pick. They've actually gotten all 4 track picks. Track pick, if you're more of an MKWC fan, you might not know that 8 Deluxe, we pick tracks as a team more often than not, almost every time, and based on your starting spots. And that's definitely something that's newer to me when I broke into this community versus when I played back in MKWC. And yeah, it looks like that was about an even race, actually. Maybe a +2 for England, because it looks like England is now trailing by 62. And so absolutely doable. They're getting their feet wet into this quarterfinal. And going for a Piranha Plant slide pick, probably for Ryan's and for Reese. Piranha Plant slide being one of the more inward-based tracks. And it looks like they're going to get it. And so for once, England getting a track pick. So we'll see if that can swing some momentum for them, as they are currently down 62 after 4 races, game 1 of this quarterfinal in the 2021 World Cup. As we shift back to Reese here, starting in 11th. And yeah, so not a bad start for England for sure. They're definitely still in it, quote unquote. It's just the first couple of races kind of hurt them. And so I think any more +20s for France would be just kind of detrimental for England right now, as they look to play Italy in the Football Euros Championship on Sunday. But right now, have to be focused on France. I know that these English fans, I know Joebo, very, very vocal football fan on Twitter, but for now he's got to stay focused, and hopefully that isn't affecting his focus here today, as he has a big task here today. One of the players I think could definitely step up, or definitely will need to step up here for England, as you see Valor reading out Stevens. And I see it looks like 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, but Valor going for the glider strike, getting punished by Reese. Reese getting another, maybe getting the snipe on Starlo. He might have lagged through it. So, but it looks like a lot of top spots for Francis. Reese just kind of desperately throwing up a green shell there. Gonna make contact though. So 5-6 occupied now by England. I see Xander, longtime XI member, up there in 4th, as Reese getting punished again. And so far, Reese not having too much luck. He's kind of been solo fighting his way up there. And it's kind of hard to do that, especially in this game, if you're 1-on-5. Yeah, a lot of people in the chat mentioning Pyrax, a former France member, no longer with the team for off the field issues, but back. So that's definitely a loss for France, but I think they've still recovered greatly since that loss, and definitely one of the still looking very strong. But is the team strong enough to beat Team Japan? That's going to be the question, as they have to get through England here first. As we see, Valor was holding the blue shell, and so looks like a top first place for sure for France, and probably more, as it looks like Shock probably not in play. Reese going to have to do his best to salvage a good spot here, as we see 5, 6, 7 now for England. Hopefully it's not a top 4 for their sake. As we go down to lap 3 here, the cut will definitely be monumental here, as it looks like maybe not even getting the red on Toads. This could be a top 4, and I would not be surprised if we see Toad and Starlo up there for France, and that's 3-4, and Reese might be able to pass one of them with the cut here. Maybe not, because they're all going for it. But he did. He got Nanan, so good Nanans there from Starlo. And it looks like another good race for France. We'll see how that finished up. Oh, and absolutely a top 4, 7, 10. Shout out to MKWC there, getting first place for Team France. And so a huge race for the French. And that's a great response for them. Extending their lead, they'll probably be winning by over 80 points now. And yeah, an absolutely great start for France. Reese just getting Nana there on the line. Good Nanas in that last cut. Everyone knew he would be taking it. And so throwing the Nanas there, a very, very calculated risk from Starlo. So well done for him. And yeah, this France team they look unbreakable right now. I mentioned they haven't won by less than 128 so far in this tournament. And currently on pace to do that again. And what's going to be the response needed for England is going to dry desert. And at this point, I'm not going to call this match a lost cause. There's definitely still time. 7 races to go. And England, I think it's very important for them to just try to get some game plan, try to build some chemistry. I was talking to Squids before the match, one of the other MK Central casters, good friend of mine, and also a member of Team England, currently on the bench today. And he was talking about France and Ryans are going to have to break into the front for them to have any success today. And so far, unable to do so, as we see many times, Reese is just getting destroyed out of there. We saw Ryans get first place on Hyrule with the shock dodge, but other than that, just no way through this French wall so far for Reese and for Ryans. And yeah, we head to Mount Wario, so another track pick going the French's way. That's 5 out of 6 for them, and this is obviously one of the bigger runners in the game, and we'll see if they're able to break into it. So far, it does not look like they are, as Reese getting hit again, switching back to Valor. And it looks like we see it's a 3-4 for England. So England not in a bad spot, but Valor's going to spam a horn, hit somebody from behind. And yeah, we see he's actually surrounded by a lot of England right now. And so we see 3rd for England. I presume it's a first place for France. I do not know at the moment, but they're actually going to pull into 2-3 with Floaks holding a red shell and a good horn pull from Valor there, avoiding the green cell snipe, unable to avoid the fireball, it looked like there. As Ryan's going to do some solo work, but getting punished for it again. So it looks like a top 3 heading into this tree section, which can cause some chaos for sure. As we see another England stop horn there from Valor. I think you got one from each team. And we head into the trees, where a lot can go down, that's for sure. And yeah, it looks like a top 4, maybe even a top 5 for France, as England has a shock. So this is something they could turn around this race. We'll see if they're close enough to be able to make a comeback. Looks like they're going to be waiting for it, as England currently bottom 3, holding a dodge and a shock. Yeah, so the shock's going to be coming. I would presume it's coming after this set here that we see Valor just passed. Maybe not. Maybe they're going to wait for the glider, because this could be absolutely deadly. This is huge. Now we see a lot of England players with dodges. We see Velocity, Ryans, a lot of players. Yep, and Valor being very smart about slowing down before the glider, so he's able to get a good item himself. And we'll see if England's able to come up. We see Reese is actually in the bill in last place. And it looks like Valor's still able to salvage a 9th. So Reese getting last regardless. We'll see if any English players pulled up from that shock. And yeah, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so that's actually a huge shock for England, keeping themselves in that race. But still, I think it's a winning race for France. So regardless, even with the English shock, French's run was just too strong there. And a great start for France. We're halfway through this first match. And yeah, England is currently struggling, even though they're pulling shocks. I don't think France has pulled a single shock yet, but they've proven they don't really need to do so, as they have such a strong running core. I wouldn't say it's necessarily stronger than English's core, but as I mentioned before, their team chemistry is undoubtedly maybe the best in the world besides Japan. With Japan, we'll see. Maybe that matchup will happen later on in the tournament. But a lot of work still to go for French, as they have at least 6 races in this match, and definitely a game 2. As if you're just joining us, welcome to the 8 Deluxe Mario Kart 8 Deluxe 2021 World Cup. We're in the quarterfinals here between 2 powerhouse teams for sure. 2 of the top 4 teams in the world. France ranked number 2 and England ranked number 4. Definitely our most heavyweight quarterfinal. Winner goes on to play the United States next weekend. We also have, if you're looking for more action, we do have more Mario Kart action from all 3 platforms on MKTV and Mario Kart Central throughout the weekend. We have Spain versus Mexico in 8 Deluxe at 2 o'clock Eastern Time, which is, I think, 8 p.m. Central European Time on Sunday. We also have Japan versus Canada. Not sure when that match is being played. But regardless, we're on Moo Moo Meadows, which I think England actually got a track pick, so that's good for them, as they break into a top 2 early on. We'll see. Moo Moo, one of those tracks you definitely want to draft, and I agree with that stream usage there from Reese. Very good. Able to separate himself a bit from the chaos that's behind him. This is one of those tracks where it's hard to pull a blue shell, definitely very hard to pull a shock. It's one of the more running tracks for sure, because there's only 2 item sets. As we see Reese almost getting sniped there, but England in a top 2 looks like maybe a top 3. I'm trying to check Valor's stream on the other side to see what's going on over here. As we see England actually, yeah, in a top 3. Valor's going to take the shortcut. But regardless, it's actually a top 3 for the English. So this is a massive start for them. As we'll see if Valor is going to get greedy here and go for a bomb snipe. I think he will, and he does, and he misses it a bit wide. And so leaving himself defenseless here. But a top 4 kind of have a breakaway over 5th. And yeah, the pack very tight, so I would be absolutely surprised if there was a shock. I do not expect to see one. As England now, here they go, lap 3. Gonna have to hold on. Unfortunately, Valor unable to pull a shroom, so he's not going to do much. Reese has a shroom in second, going to take the cut. Going to try to red Ryan's in the cut, and I think he did. Unfortunately, Ryan's didn't have any defense, but he had another shroom, so still a top 3 for England as they head into the last couple turns. Going for the snipe on the side. Oh, almost hitting himself as well. So Valor has his teammates behind him, you'd expect, because he's going for all these snipes. Oh, he's going to get red. I don't think so. Oh, he is going to get red on the line. Did anyone? Oh, it's a top 4 for England. Oh, what a statement there. What a race for England. And that's a top 4, 7-10 for England. And that's maybe the comeback starting now. Good race for them. And they're not going home just yet. That's for sure. Nice race for the English. And yeah, so England not going away quietly. That's their first winning race of the match, maybe second. I don't have the individual scores with me, but making the match up to a 62-point game. So with just 5 races to go, England still in it, that's for sure. I said not to count them out, and sure enough, they come up with a top 4 on Moo Moo. We saw them break away into that top 3 right away, and it's kind of hard to break a top 3 on Moo Moo for sure. There's only one shortcut, and there's really no chance of getting a shock. So yeah, well done from England. They executed that very well, and they have some momentum here. So we'll see if they're able to build on it. As it looks like they're not going to get their track pick, and we're going to see some Rainbow Road 64, something we don't see very often in competitive 8 Deluxe. But actually, I'm personally a big fan of this track. I know a lot of people aren't, and it's all about kind of drafting into those top spots. There's 0 shortcuts on this track. The only way to pass people is either with a blue shell or with just shrooming past them or hitting them. There's no shortcuts. There's no. I mean, you can target shock on the last collider, I suppose, but that would require absolutely committing to going for the shock. And so you see a lot of the drafts going on earlier. We're watching Valor here for Team France. Very established world friend member, Valor. He's won 6 consecutive titles in Division 1 of our clan league until losing a couple weeks ago for the first time in 7 seasons. And some players getting taken out. Actually, Reese is in last place, I'm getting word. So it looks like France is breaking to a top 2. That's a top 3 for France, actually. So English's lead did not last long at all. It's actually a good track to break into spots because there's a lot of drafting and a lot of chaos. So France doing a very good job doing that. They're now into top 3. And it looks like they're in. Oh, this is a top 5 for France. So England, I think England's got to scramble here. England absolutely has to go for shock or something because there's really not much they can do. As we see, as we're looking at Reese now, in 10th place. But yeah, like, oh man, this could be very bad. As you see a player way in the back there, you see that Waluigi. He's going for shock for England because they're absolutely desperate for it. As yeah, this is actually not looking good at all for the English. As it looks like they're 4-5. So top 3 would just kind of cancel out their momentum they got from last race. As not a good place to pull triple reds, hitting Joebo, also known as Velocity. Nothing he could really do there. That was an unfortunate pull for Reese. And it looks like, yeah, top 3 for France. Getting everything behind it, though, I think England did. And we'll see the results here in a sec. Yeah, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 12. So Stevens desperately going for shock, unable to pull it. And so France responds right back. And so with just 4 to go, France regaining that momentum and showing how big of a powerhouse they are. You know, you can get a top 4 on us once, but you're not going to do it twice. For sure. And with just 4 to go, the lead's going to be extended here for sure for France. As now they have the momentum, and with just 1 GP left, it's going to be tough now for England. They're going to need some momentum for sure. And if they can't come back and win this match, at least give themselves a game plan. Maybe, you know, get a water break, maybe get some momentum going to this next match, just to know that they can do it. You know, they've only won a couple races. They've yet to string together anything other than that. And so England hanging in there with just 4 to go. It looks like they're down 64, assuming those scores are updated. And so shout out to our Endgame TV team for doing all the work behind the scenes, including getting the stream set up, getting all the graphics, that really cool intro video you saw, the hype video, getting the scores up to date every race. A lot of work goes on behind the scenes to make these casts possible. So we appreciate the work people do for our media team. And yeah, we're heading to Cloud Top Cruise, which is one of the tracks that Reese can't run as successfully only because of this super bounce right here. And we'll see a little bit of separation there as France pulling up, as we see Reese pulling a shroom to actually kind of stay in it a little bit. As a Frenchman are getting taken out there. So Xander, does he trail? He does. Maybe he'll get the trail on Valor. Valor somehow lagging through it. Oh, Starlo getting hit by the Nana. So it looks like Xander's going to establish first place. Ooh, I see a lot of England up here in the top 5. It looks like 3 or 4 of the top 5 are from England. So good start for now for England as somebody getting taken out. People getting knocked out left and right here on Cloud Top Cruise. One of the more runner tracks in the game, for sure. Not as commonly played as tracks such as Wario Stadium, Hyrule Circuit, things like that, but it's still definitely a runner, especially if your other team has an inward, because inwards are at a disadvantage a little bit here. But it looks like a 1-3-4 for England as Dax, the lone Frenchman, in the top. And yeah, so England behind him too. A bomb coming up, that's going to hit somebody. Maybe not. Okay, never mind. As Ryan's able to lag through the bomb. And yeah, actually that's a top 2 for France, so it looks like Floaks is up there as well, so my mistake. So a top 2 currently for France. And Dax getting hit or maybe slowing down. I don't know, because Reese going for that horn. It looks like a top, 2, 3, 4. That's the stream lagging a little bit on my end. And a lot going on all at the same time here, so just trying to keep up with everything. As the nanotype in the air, just absolutely brutal, almost getting killed. As Valor trying to get a trail here on Ryan's, or James, I think that's James here. And yeah, so very mixed bag here. A lot of spots being switched up throughout this race, but a good race. Oh, and I think that's an English player getting taken out, and a French. So that's actually a top 2 before somebody getting redded. So every time I go to say the spot, somebody getting hit out. That's how quick the game can change, especially at a high level such as this. We're in the Deluxe World Cup quarterfinal. You can't expect too much more high-level gameplay, that's for sure. As Joebo holding down the 4 for England, a very important first place for him to get, as we expect Valor to go for a red chain. He has his teammate Toad right behind him, so he can do so almost risk-free. But, oh, Joebo going for the slow horn. That's a huge play. And so well done there from Velocity. Looks like he's going to get first place. Valor just trying to survive, and he's unable to do so. A good boomerang there. Reese getting hit by another boomerang as well. So both of our POVs getting destroyed on the Nisk. And it looks like a 10-12 for England, but they got some top spots, I presume. Yeah, 1, 3, 4, 9, 10, 12. So actually, it's an okay race, but a big play there from Velocity, aka Joebo, HD2 member, who missed the playoffs just barely in Division 2 this season. Able to make a huge stop horn play, because when you use a horn, it lasts for longer than you think it will, especially with the lag online. It'll last for almost 3 seconds sometimes, it feels like. And so Joebo making a very big play there, for sure. Keeping first place for his team where he otherwise may have lost it. And so keeping England in this game as we go to race number 10, France lead is now looking at about 72 points with just 3 to go. So it's still mathematically possible. Yeah, so I think England holding up okay for sure. They're able to. No, they got the top 4 on Mumu, and they had another winning race earlier, I think on Hyrule, and I think that was like their 3rd winning race, only by +2 or 4, I believe. But they just have to avoid the bad start that they had this match, and they lost. French got a top 4 race 1, I believe, and it's been kind of the French lead for ever since then. They're up 50 points or 60 after 2, and they've yet to be anywhere closer to that. But either way, it's still French's closest matchup, only up by 70 with 3 to go. This can be clinched with a +10 race here. So England fighting for their lives this race, having to win this race to keep themselves mathematically in it. As Reese unfortunately going to get redded in 11th place. That's one of the unfortunate things that happen in the at the beginning of a race. And we see a couple of French back here, both of our POVs near the back. And James going for that snipe, unable to connect on Valor there. And that's one of those things, in the higher level game, I know a lot of lower level or, newer players to MK Deluxe are, find themselves overwhelmed. It's just because there's always a lot that can go on no matter where you are. You have to keep your eyes peeled, such as a bomb there on the cut. So good bomb from Ryan's. And yeah, even if you're in 10th place, you could still get redded or sniped at any instant. So you have to be paying attention to that. As it looks like he's able to bomb a couple players. Unfortunately, though, getting redded for it. So Velocity making him pay the price. And it looks like a 2-3 for England. I don't know who's in first. If that's in England first, that would be huge for them. Velocity getting the back. So as I mentioned, even though he's in 5th place, he still has to watch out for the back and unable to avoid it. As we switch back to Reese now. In some dodges here, and shot could be in play. There's definitely some separation. If you see somebody in last stopping for the box, and the blue shot coming in, so I don't know who that's going to hit because I don't remember. We never really saw who's in first. But it looks like, good triple red pull there from Reese. I think it's a 2-4 for England right now, and a bomb that's going to be unavoidable as you see Reese having to slow down. Bombs on these turns are just unavoidable. And there's a shock is coming in. I think that was a French shock because multiple French people. Oh, it's 3 French dodges. And this is not going to be good for England. And that was definitely, it might have been a top 3 for England before that shock. As Valor getting hit out regardless anyway, so I don't even know what happened to him, poor guy. And as there's things happening left and right, I would expect a pretty decent spots now for France with 2 or 3 dodges. And we see the bill coming up as well. I think Valor's in that bill right behind him. And yeah, England fighting for their lives here, lap 3 of DKJ. Yeah, I think, and as I mentioned, probably a top 3 before the shock, but we see Starlo in 4th, Valor in 5th. So, and yeah, it looks like a 3-4-5. This might be like a top 5, a 1-3-4-5. This could be really big for France. Not sure yet. We'll have to see. And oh wow, and that's a statement made. France coming back with the shock, winning a top 5-12 on DKJ, and that's going to be match 1. France is going to clinch their victory on game 1 of this quarterfinal. They are now 1 game away from a date with the United States next week in the semifinals of this Deluxe World Cup. And so England have to make sure to pick themselves up because they have 2 races now to get with a game plan, kind of mentally reset. As we're going to go into game 2 at the top of the hour, I would presume, with England needing to win to stay alive. And so, we will see. We'll see how they're able to do so. I think they're just getting outran right now is the big downfall for them at the moment. They've been pulling shocks. That was actually the first French shock of the war, I think. I'm not able to take as many notes as I normally do, just being the only one in the booth at the moment. But I'm pretty sure that's the only shock we've seen from France, and they used it very effectively, getting a +32 race, I believe. And so maybe only 28. So people in the chat are telling me. So thank you for that. As a 100-point lead with 2 to go. So France, well done winning this first match, as we're going to have a couple victory laps here for them. And so, how do you regroup is the thing. So, if you're not familiar with how our league works, it's called MKU. You play 2 matches every week for 5 weeks, and then you go to playoffs. And so oftentimes you're going to lose that first match, and being able to regroup is one of the things that is definitely important to be able to do. And I know many of the teams I've played for, we haven't been able to do that. We lose game 1 and get tilted, and then just lose game 2 by even more. So I think England I would expect more character from England than that, so I would expect them to be able to regroup here. And if any lineup changes come in, I will definitely get those out to you as soon as I learn. I know France will be definitely changing their lineup. A couple players coming in and out. But this lineup looking very, very strong. And as I've said many times, it's World Friend and Requiem are two best teams outside of Japan. And so and a shot coming in, but that could be literally anyone. So at this point, it doesn't really matter too much. England just playing for pride at this point, playing to regroup and try to come back to match 2 with a bang. And thanks for joining us here for the 8 Deluxe Mario Kart 8 Deluxe World Cup quarterfinal. France winning against England game 1 here with the United States on the line. It is a best of 3, so England will have a chance to regroup and try to pull off a big comeback. If you were tuning in on the 4th of July last Saturday, we had a very exciting USA-Germany match where I forget who won game 1 and 2, but I went to game 3, and the US were down about 40 points with 3 races to go. Their lives were on the line, able to win the last 3 races and win the war by 2 points. So that was a huge comeback there, and a clutch win for the United States as they lost in the quarterfinal last tournament. So this is definitely an improvement for them getting into the semis. And if they have to play this French team, it's going to be a tough matchup for them for sure. And I mentioned England losing to Spain in their first game of the group stage. That cost them the first place in the group, because if they would have won their group, they'd be playing Team Mexico right now, and they'd be on the other side of the bracket. But unfortunately for them, they were playing against the French powerhouse, Mexico, playing against Spain in the other semifinal. That will be taking place on Sunday at 8 European time, I believe. And yeah, that's the race. Xander getting first place for England, so a little bit of pride there for the long-time XI member. And yeah, we see that French top 4 just absolutely dominant. And yeah, so the French is showing us how good they are at all aspects of the game. They didn't even need to pull shock, really, other than Donkey Kong on DK Jungle. And yeah, they're just so strong in the pack and so strong at front running that Reese and Ryans are kind of struggling to just get up there. It feels like a 2v5 every time in the front. So it's definitely going to be tough for them. Something's going to have to change for them. We will see if there's any game plan modifications for the English team going into lap 3 or match number 2. Yeah, thank you for joining us for this World Cup quarterfinal as we go into our last race. Thank you for bearing with us. I'm Josh K, only commentator in the booth right now here at MGame TV. Hopefully getting somebody else to join us. This match getting moved up earlier than we thought it would be. We thought it'd be later in the day on either today or earlier on Saturday. We did not expect it to be during prime working hours on a Friday. But either way, glad you're with us here for the highest level of competitive action in Mario Kart that we have to offer. And as we see a Sunshine Airport victory lap for France, as Vela getting nanoed off the ramp there. But it's not going to matter for him. He doesn't care. His team is up by over 80 points with 1 race to go. And so they've clinched themselves a game 1 victory. Interesting thing, I don't know all the numbers in terms of best of 3s and how they go in the World Cup, but I do know that in MKU, which is our clan league, a significant number of teams that if they lose game 1 but win game 2, they end up winning game 3. I remember a couple of seasons ago, there were 7 such occasions where 7 of our division finals, the team that lost game 1 ended up winning game 2 and 3. And nobody won game 3 from after losing game 2. And so it's interesting because England, maybe the stars will align for the English, as if they're able to win game 2, they'll have all the momentum going into game 3. But as I've mentioned many times, this French powerhouse, they're so good at running and they play so well together. They have more chemistry than any team in the world, maybe besides Japan, and only coming from 2 teams. So it's going to be hard to see if they're England able to keep themselves in it for match 2. And obviously, we hope to see it. We definitely want to see. But no disrespect to France. You can't argue with them. They're absolutely just killing it on the racetrack. Haven't won by less than 128 so far in the tournament, as Reese getting boomeranged out. And yeah, this will be their closest match though. So England putting up the biggest test so far for France. And so I think France would definitely benefit from a closer match, because if they have to play Japan in the finals, which is where they would end up. Are they able to come to win that match, which they've never done before? And so we'll see if they're able to learn anything from a close match here in the quarters or the semis. Yeah, just a nice cruising victory lap for France. Not for Reese though, as he gets taken out in the cut. But at this point, I think their minds are set to game 2 already. And I'm actually currently actively looking to see if we have any lineup changes. But Ryan's getting a first place, maybe a confidence booster there. So big congrats to France winning this first game by over 100 points, I think. Either way, it's their closest game they've had in this World Cup. So France played very well. And I think we're going to take a little break before the start of the next match. But until then, France lead this match 1-0. We'll be back very soon for Game 2. Thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, getting underway. Already halfway through lap 1.
Shout out to our stream hosts, Iric coming in for this stream host, and I forget your name, man. I'm very sorry. I'm looking at
Kjeld. I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah, Kjeld. Okay.
Coming through with our stream host for match 1, so big shout out to them. All the work behind the scenes has to be done, and we don't know who's in the front now. We kind of, but we're watching Power for France, a new POV for you guys here.
Yeah, more importantly for me, we don't know who's in last right now because I personally think that this is the track where Shock is the strongest in the game, right? If you target Shock everybody over the glider, they're in a lot of trouble. So I'm really curious to see who's in last. Bottom 2, probably 1 each from France and England. And we do see the blue getting broken right there by Power.
Yeah, it looks like a 1-3 for France. That's a bold statement there, Royal.
Oh, Power.
This is the most powerful shock track in the game, according to
I believe so anyway.
Wow. So
I've said it time in, time out.
Yeah, if you see some split spots there at the top, we see Reese, and I don't know if there's anyone else.
Yeah, I think it's only Reese up here from England.
That's kind of been the story of the match.
Yeah, so that's going to be a 1-3-4-5, maybe 6 for France. Not just
Reese
1-3-4-5.
Okay, gotcha. As Starlo trying to get the boomerang, might get a deadly boomerang in the air.
Yep, there's the shock.
All right,
I think that's gonna. I think that's gonna be an England shock for sure. Yeah, I'm not really sure though.
Okay, we're actually watching Floex and not Power.
Okay.
But, we'll see. Let's see if England was able to break in there. This would be a huge waste 1 win, and unfortunately, a bottom 3 not able to do so. And so France off to a good start, but not as good of a start as last match. So there's a win for England. Are you English fans out there? As probably about a plus 8, plus 12 for France, I would guess.
Yeah.
And as a Team USA member yourself, Royal, I ask which of these teams, as you play them, the winner of this game in the semifinal, is there any strategizing going on for that?
Yeah, we're trying to get some matches against some pretty high caliber teams, Japan. We're trying to get some matches in before we play presumably France. We played England yesterday and we won. So if history were to repeat itself,
you're not worried about them.
If history were to repeat itself, I'm just saying I would be completely fine with England making it to semifinals.
Gotcha. Yeah, and the French team obviously very strong. I don't think they're going to be happy with you saying that because they might go out and win this by 200. And I asked Squids, an English member, what the game plan needs to be, and he said, "quote more front presence." That's it. So.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot easier said than done, right? Because everyone from France, like their teamwork is just so overpowering. It's pretty tough for everyone to survive up there.
Absolutely. I mentioned that they play on World Friend and Requiem, the 2 of the best teams in our Western world, and so they play together all the time compared to this English side. And
it'll be a nice bag from Ryan's.
Yeah. I don't think we have another POV for now, so we're sticking with Floex, I believe, in 8th place here on DEA.
Yeah, holding on to a ghost, definitely. a good item to have if your team is going for shock, because it can't be stolen. While what?
As we are currently unable to see the action here, as we have some stream delay.
Okay, we are gonna restart the stream maybe. We don't really know though. Alright, we're still going. France, I don't really know what's going on, I'll be completely honest.
We really don't. We kind of lost sight of the front, so as Dam getting bombed. Ooh. Then Velocity able to take out Valor, so maybe some England up there. I don't know, we'll see.
Yeah, I can't provide any
we apologize for this
insightful commentary. I feel like this is a good race for England though. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Unless that could be like a top 2.
No!
Oh, okay, top 3-5 for England.
Ooh, England might be in the lead for the first time the entire match. And so they're not going away quietly.
Yeah, the last place does hurt a little bit, but still, still better than losing the race.
Absolutely. So England only won 2 races in the entire first match, not counting the last 2 when the match was already over. And so if they're able to win half the races, there's a decent chance they could win the match. So that is a good response from England. And is it coming home is the joke I keep making because of the European Championships on Sunday.
I don't care about the European Championship, but all I know is it's coming Rome. It's not coming home.
Ah, okay. We got ourselves an Italian fan here in the call.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, we'll see how France respond. They've responded really well last war when England got that top 4 on Mumu. And so we'll see if they're able to do the same here on Mario Circuit, a classic. They hold a 6-point lead, actually. So England's still yet to take the lead in this match. But it's the closest they've been so far. So England 1 race away from taking the lead. And we'll see how it goes down here.
We do see Flo X here in 2nd place. Gonna red Jasmine out. Oh, unfortunately he does get bumped. Yeah. But we do see Starlo into 1st, followed by quite a few English players. And Valor.
Yeah, Valor, isn't Valor one of the guys known for being able to pull a shock at any moment for France?
No, that's, I think you might be thinking of Thomas, because he's the one who always goes for shock in World Friend.
Gotcha, so World Friend missing out on their Belgian teammate, for sure. As you see, it's not top 3, it might be top 3 here, I don't know who's in 1st.
Yeah, that's gonna be Starlo in 1st, so maybe a top 3, top 4 for France, and holding on to a horn in 4th is really good.
It's actually an interesting setup here. So the obvious play would be to pull a shock and use it about now or maybe next lap. Oh, okay. We'll go now.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an England shock. Come in. We see James able to make his way up to 1st. I'm not sure what he had in his hand right there. It looks like either a ghost or a blooper.
That's a 50-50 pick right there. That's a random. Yeah, it's all about saving up shrooms for lap 3 on this track, as France able to do so with Dax and with Floaks. Valor getting taken out. We see Reese up there, and it looks like a 1-3 maybe for France or for England. Maybe top 3. I don't really know. As Floaks gonna go for the trusty glider strat.
Make the glider strat, and he has a shroom, so you can trim right ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, he only passed Arlo.
But did they get 1st though? This is big for England. Oh, top 3-5!
That's going to be a top 3-5 again for England. But the last place, again, hurts. So we should be seeing a race similar to last one.
Yeah, so another big race for England. And for the first time all match, they've strung together back-to-back winning races. And they're going to take the lead, no doubt about it now. 3 races into Game 2 of this quarterfinal. England needing to win this best of 3. They lost Game 1. And they have some momentum now.
Yep, we see Wario Stadium coming out again from England, and we see another bagging track coming out from France right here.
Yeah, so France unable to respond there. England pulling 2 shocks already in this war. They pulled, I think, 2 last war, the entirety of it. And France only pulling 1. But England getting their track pick here, so this is a golden opportunity for the English to break away into a lead here, and we'll see if they're able to do so.
Yeah, this could be a very good opportunity for England to take a sizable lead. But yeah, I don't think this race is going to be close. No matter which team wins, I think either England is going to be able to hold on to their top 3-5, or France is just going to overpower them and get like top 3, top 4, something like that.
Yeah, definitely wouldn't surprise me if France was able to do so. As we see somebody in the dead last already. And, a little too early to pull shock yet. Don't just relax there, buddy. You're in last, but we'll see how it plays out for sure. I think they played this race last match. It definitely was one of the France winning races as well.
Yeah,
as we see them in 3, 4, 5.
I'm not quite sure who that was in last that you mentioned. I think it might have been a French player, just trying to go for shock right off the bat.
Yeah, do you see that rank snipe there on Velocity, I think, or James? And that might be a top 4. I don't know who's in first, but if it's England, he's by himself.
Yeah. It's going to be at least a 2-3-4 for France. And we see FlowX here trailing. Oh, he backs the red.
Oh, that's a French. Yeah, it's going from that's a French to the top 3. Yeah. Yeah. So you were right about France overpowering because they've absolutely done so.
Yeah, this boomerang could be deadly. Backs it. I don't think he connected. Maybe he hit Velocity. No, he's back.
Yeah, he's gonna have to back here. Oh, maybe getting horned out. I think that's what happened there.
Yeah, 4 greens right here. Definitely really good for them.
Really good pull. So yeah, England just unable to. They're not gonna be able to break in without a blue shell again or like a shock, and getting a snipe there as well, and a horn. So just France is absolutely really set right now. Blue shell coming in. So we're gonna see some backs here. I think he got.
Well, I don't know if I would have backed that. Okay, very nice. Oh, and he gets the bomb. He could just put this back right here, and Xander will be in a lot of trouble. Yeah.
Yeah, that is just
nothing he could have done.
Yeah, getting pack play items when he needs them, and using them to perfection.
And England has to. Okay, they do have one.
Not coming in. That's 3 shocks in 4 races for England, but is it going to be too late?
Oh, I think this is a French player coming up right here.
Yeah. I think England got like 5th, but that might be it. 3, 5, 6.
Okay, you know, not too bad. Bottom 3 definitely sucks a little bit, but
yeah.
So my prediction was right.
Yeah, we get it. Yeah. And yes, we're gonna have a close match. We might be tied up again after 4.
Yeah, definitely what you want to see if you are a viewer, because close matches are always more fun than blowouts. Especially in like such a prestigious tournament as this.
Yeah.
And really coming down to the wire here at the bracket stages.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all or nothing now. There's no losers bracket this edition of the World Cup. So when you lose, you're done. So these teams fighting for their lives. As France responding well to an England back-to-back wins, they take actually a 6-point lead after the first GP. So another lead change as France back in front like they used to be. But England getting their track pick.
We have Dry Desert coming in here. A famous man, actually no, a wise man once famously said this track has a lot of sand. Definitely some words of wisdom by whoever that guy was.
Yeah, whoever that guy is a genius. And definitely one of those races where it was the victory lap last race, so I didn't even commentate on it the last match. I don't even remember who won.
We see quite a few French players back here. We see Flo, Dam. We do see some England players as well. Reese and Ryans are back here.
Yeah, definitely an ousting battle. And
that's gonna be a really early pull from FlowX.
Yeah. You use it right away, I would presume, right? You being the D1 expert.
No, I think you hold it just for a little bit, but you don't want to hold it for too long. Yeah, like right there, pretty good. Maybe they dodged one of their other teammates with a shock, but most importantly, you want to make sure you don't dodge the other team at all, because they could be holding a shock and punish you for it.
That is the one thing you need to avoid on Dry Desert. But using an early shock means a second shock definitely possible to pull here. Maybe end of lap 2, beginning lap 3. As the pack still spread out as ever. And Flux deciding to start batting again. Maybe doing some of God's work, checking out on shock duty here. As Reese, what does he have after?
Because lots of English players were in the back and there were no French.
Yeah, I think Reese pulled a Bill, so unfortunately not going to pull shock unless it's after Bill.
Yeah, 3 bills in play could mean someone is going to pull it this set.
Yeah.
Jasmine could pull it.
This will be the turning point for sure. He's first into Bill early, so he's unable to see what Reese had in last, but pulling another Bill. And so it's kind of just off for the races now. We should switch back to Reese, actually. Reese is actually ahead of, his POV is actually kind of ahead, so.
Flo has it.
Flo sold another one. Uh-oh.
I wouldn't be surprised if,
Ooh, it's used. It's used by somebody else. I don't know if you noticed that, but that was an England shock.
No, I think that might have been a French shock still.
You think?
I can't really tell though.
Maybe they pulled 3 shocks in a race, but England pulling a 1-3-4. I don't know. I'm gonna say it's an England shock, but honestly, I wouldn't know much more than you. But so England again responding, and they're gonna take back the lead here after 5. We have a game on our hands, everyone. As England not going away, quietly taking the lead after 5 in this Game 2 quarterfinal.
Yeah. And the thing that keeps happening with England is they're getting good races, right? They're getting these 1-3-4s, but they can't avoid getting last. So they aren't winning races by as much as they could be.
Yeah, points, even in the back, points really do matter. You can, if you get 10th instead of 12th, that's, +4 swing. And so those things add up for sure. And we'll see if it comes back to bite them. But yeah, positive start now for England for sure. And I do not see we don't have the bot running, so I can't see the individual race scores. But for sure, England's going to be in the lead here after 5. Do you have after 5? Do you have a bold prediction you want to make for the end of this match?
I still think France is going to win
by how
by
many?
like 40 probably.
Wow, so a bold Royal's not a believer in England. Doesn't think it's coming home. But I can't blame him though. France is very strong in many different ways, as we've seen time and time again. And getting their Trainbow Road pick again. So actually, I'm happy to see this track again. One of the few fans of this track, I must admit.
Yeah, I don't really like this track, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. Well, this is what they picked after Moo Moo Meadows when England started with the top 4 and France just broke into it right away. And so, looking to do the same here. Yeah,
so an interesting fact about this track is this first set of item boxes right here, none of the boxes ever disappear when they're taken by other players, so you can go for any box you want and get it 100% of the time.
Yeah, same is true actually with the second set actually as well.
Really?
Yeah, just watch. So you can actually lag through any box in the first 2 sets on this track.
Yeah. I never knew that about the second set. Nice.
Yeah, I got you. And yeah, who's breaking out? Looks like a 2-3-4 for France.
Nah, this is a top 4 for sure.
This track working really well. I don't know why we don't pick this more often. Look how well it's working for France.
Well, nah, this is just a fluke. We should never pick this track.
I have to disagree, but England looking a lot of back spots now.
This might be like a top 6. Oh, this actually might be top 6.
Yeah, it actually
might be okay. Bottom 5, maybe.
Yeah, and that's not what England needs now. They're only up 6 here after 5 races. They just need to survive this race now. Maybe pull it to a -10 would be massive for them.
Yeah. Oh, this actually might be top 6.
Oh,
I don't know for certain though. See it, Flo X in 6th.
Oh,
I think that's top 6.
Have we seen the +40?
Oh,
yes, we have.
They did what USA in 2019 could not. Unlucky.
Yeah. Yeah, dang, that is a. Yeah, I do remember that actually. I remember watching that. I think you were on the track for that match, were you not?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So a famous top 5 almost turned to top 6, but it can be done as France pulling into a top 6, taking the lead once again. And as we get scores added up here, this match the lead change is yet again, and our closest race was actually a +12. And so with that 40-point swing, after 6 races, France is up by 34. And that makes them start to think about they only have 6 races left to hold this lead and move on to the semis. Whereas in England, they have to figure something out right now, and we'll see how they respond.
Yeah, definitely. This is where I think France starts to just break away with it, right?
Definitely could, yeah. That is absolutely what England's trying to avoid.
This is probably the biggest track pick of the match right here. If France gets their pick, then I think they pretty much just win.
And it looks like they did get their track pick as well. So, bold statement here from Royal.
Yeah, this is going to be a France track pick. They do like to pick it within their top 6 so they can all draft each other at the beginning.
Yeah. And all going for those. It looks like we have maybe 11 Streetles on the track, which is kind of cool. And
Reese.
Yeah, and then Reese. Shout out to inwards everywhere. And a lot of links as well, so Streetle definitely the more optimal pick on this track. And it looks like
Velocity, looks like he unfortunately hit Jasmine right there.
It looks like a 2-3 though for England. 2-3-4-5.
Yeah, 2-3, 2-3-4-5.
Yeah, but this is a very shockable track. So, and
what happened to Dax?
Oh, he got yeah. I think Dax got sniped.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of stuff going on. The pack actually very tight.
Yeah, I think Reese should stop here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nice play.
Oh, but that was a
no, and you have to go
play
back. You have to go back. Yeah. Get 2, maybe 3 boxes. Yeah, 3.
He was trying to get
now
that
he's
team
in.
who got starred.
Yeah, he's in a tough position.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he can get rid of this golden before the set. Looks like he should be able to.
Stop spamming it. Okay, we're fine.
Oh, that sucks.
The toxic red shell in 11th.
Yeah.
And yeah, but they could still be up there, England. That's for sure. They were in like 2-3 at some point, so they just have to not lose this race. I think if they want to stay in it, as you mentioned. So
I think you have to spam the bill immediately so you can get the first set, because I don't think you're going to be getting a higher spot than like maybe even 8th here.
Yeah, he's doing the bill extension here, but yeah, I think you're right because I don't think he's going to get as far up as he would like.
No, it's going to put him after the set, and he's not going to be able to get chalk for his team. Yeah. Oh, never mind. Puts him right before the set. Okay.
Okay, he does something we don't. And we see 2 France back here, though, so this, I mean, it could be positive for England. I really just do not know. Unable to.
Oh, Dax is holding blue set. Probably be a last.
Yeah, but a first, though, so worthwhile trade. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. You watch that race from the back. Shot coming in.
Even though that's going to be a top 3. Even though it kind of worked out for Flo, I still don't agree with holding the bill right there. I think he should have used it and tried to get it at the first set because he could have gotten shock for his team. Or maybe they just weren't in a position where they needed it.
Yeah. And so, unfortunately, we're not able to see any of Floke's POV there. But I think we have 4 races to go. Oh, no. 5 races to go. England down 44. So that was minus 10. And so can they stop the bleeding? They're going to have to stop it soon because their World Cup lives are on the line here.
It's definitely starting to slip away from England right here.
Yeah. But they still have it in them. I'm still a believer for sure. And they have the firepower to do so. And it's going to have to come on Music Park, or as they call it in England, Melody Motorway. Yeah, appreciate Royal joining us in the booth. I'm Josh K. Me and Royal here with you at the 8th race of match 2 in this quarterfinal of the World Cup. Winner gets to play USA in the semis next weekend. So stay tuned throughout the rest of this weekend and the next 2 weeks for all the highest quality Mario Kart action you're going to find anywhere. Right here on M-Game TV.
Yeah. Also later this weekend we have, I believe it's Canada versus Japan and Mexico versus Spain, which should be a Mexico versus Spain should be a good one for sure.
That would for sure be a close match. Spain was the team that actually beat England in the group stage to get the right to play Mexico and avoid playing France. And I think England might be regretting that match a little bit now, as they are down to the last 5 races.
I know England definitely wishes they were playing against Mexico. instead.
With all due respect.
No
of
shade to
course.
Mexico.
Yeah.
They're not France. So.
They're not runners-up in top 3 in the last 2 World Cups. And I think that's a top 2 for France. Oh, no!
No, that's going to be Starlow in first, taking out Xander. Needs to get rid of his trail.
And a snipe? No. 2, 3, 4,
4 for England here.
Yeah. I always find it funny to watch an inwards lines just because they do so many weird things. You're just not used to it. But Reese, one of the best in the world, maybe even the best inwarder. Might be a bold statement, but
maybe.
They're in 2-3, but he's failing the Nisk a little bit.
Yeah, and that. Ooh, the bomb. I think that hit some French people, so we do see.
2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Or
yeah,
6,
maybe a 2, 3, 4, 5 for England right here. Oh, Ryans gets taken out, and we do see Valor in third right there.
Yeah. This Reese might go for a back. Yeah, we kind of risky at this point. Yeah. At this point, England might have to start taking some risks here, as this race has been pretty uneventful for Reese at least, but not around him. Because maybe he goes for a slow trail here. Nope, deciding to back. Oh, but it does avoid the star, thankfully.
Oh, he does get billed.
That is the end of Reese's race.
Not quite sure who's in last, too. We haven't seen this race. Could be maybe Flow X.
Perhaps.
Power. Okay.
So that's a pretty even race, but still a winning race for France, and that's exactly what they need. As they're just storming to the finish line here. And England is in real trouble now.
Yeah, it's starting to slip away right here. France just doesn't. They don't need huge races. They just need these little races, right? Like they'll take a +4, a +6, stuff like that. Yeah,
absolutely. France does not need anything big. England's the one that does. Somebody in the chat actually asking why Reese is using the different vehicle than everybody else. He's using the Yoshi bike, which is one of the inward drifting bikes, one of the few. And people say it's objectively worse on a lot of the tracks. It is, I guess, but it is still a very strong vehicle in today's game. And there are some tracks that are actually faster than the other.
It has its uses, right? Like.
Yeah.
A lot of people always complain about inward back spams because like they're always super tight, and stuff like that. But there's only like one track in the game, 2 if you count 200cc. But there's only one track in the game that has an inward world record, and it's Toad Turnpike. So Reese's team really likes to pick that track because they have quite a few inwards. And they usually do pretty well on it. But yeah, there's no like huge difference between inward and outward.
Yeah, you get
like if you like inward, use inward. So
yeah, and it's better on some tracks. As you see, England in a 2, 3, 5. Oh, somebody doing some motion glider or something there. I don't know what that was, but 3, 4, 5 for England. Is he gonna do a stop horn? Yeah.
But this is actually we're about to see one of the disadvantages of inward is on this flower pad. There's a technique that outward carts, can do that make you shoot quite a bit further and gain some speed, right? Yeah. But here, inward bikes can't do it. I don't know why they can't, but they can't. So that makes tracks like Music Park, like you just saw, Cloud Top Cruise, and this one especially, a little tougher for inward because they can't do the super bounce and go as fast.
Did you see what happened?
Yeah, that's definitely going to be an English shock. Definitely going to be an English shock.
You think he called it right there? I don't think he was trying to fall off there. He looked like he got bumped off. I don't know. But
yeah, and Triple Red's a really good pull when Flow X is right in front of him. Flow X actually making his way into first. No coins though, unless he has 8. No, I think he had 8.
Oh, yeah, good there. Yeah, so Flux is gonna have to hold first, and another red here from Reese is gonna have to take him out, I believe. Maybe. Oh man, what happened?
French Revolution shrimming up right behind him, so they are able to protect him.
But no,
looks like Ryans was actually able to get rid of Dax right there.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4.
Yeah, that first
2, 3, 4, 6. Nah, that's gonna be a first for Flow.
And Reese unable, didn't look back there.
Oh, and James is dead. But oh, Starlo also died at the end right there.
A lot of chaos happening here, lap 3. Oh, and a bottom 3 for England, and again,
Yeah.
that top 6 just absolutely killing them. Looks like Royal Race or Rainbow Road is just the track to pick now. It's the kind of the momentum killer for France. And yeah, so England, they're hanging in there, but they're not finishing the race off. And I just don't know what advice I can give them here from the booth. Not like they would care, but with just 3 races to go, it's gonna take a miracle now. But we did see a miracle last week with USA beating Germany after being down maybe what, like 40-50 with 3 to go. I forget how much it was, but they're down 68 with 3 to go.
Yeah, we were down like 50 with like 40 left, and they were able to do it.
Yeah. So it can be done.
Yeah, I just think this is quite a bit harder because I would argue that USA and Germany were more like evenly matched, or even the team that was losing be higher rated perhaps. But
no, you're right.
Yeah,
that's fair.
And I think a lot of people rate France higher than England. So
yeah, and they're proving it on the track, that's for sure. As England's got 3 races to go. This is actually the match could be over after this race if they're unable. They're actually down 68, so a 14-point win, and the match will be over here for France. So England needing to come back right now. They need like a 20-point win if they want to have any chance, I would say. We'll see how they break into here on TikTok.
We see kind of like a mixed bag of spots right here. I'm not quite sure who's in the back. I think... Oh, we see FloX on the Biddy Buggy with the horn in first. Yeah,
that is
very strong. Pretty good for him. I think that was Jobo and Ryan's in 2-3. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so they can take out FloX here. They're going to have to, though, because it's going to be tough, but they need to if they want the plus 20.
Having 2 defensive items is very good, especially the horn.
Yeah,
but I think it would be a little bit better to have the horn in the second slot.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, it looks like Reese trying to fight off Dam here. He's got 3 greens. He's not going to be able to do much. Can't tell if he got rid of him or not. Oh,
Blue coming in from England. We will see if Flo still has his horn. It looks like he does. I can't believe he managed to hold it for that long, honestly.
Yeah, unable to red them out of it,
Yeah, and that's another advantage of Inward right there. We just saw Reese go inside the back greens from Dax or Dam, I'm not sure who. But a Wiggler would not have been able to do that. Oh, and that's going to be a shot from England, yeah.
He's a little late on the dodge. Unable to get an item either, but looks like Starlo dodge as well, so this might not be as good as
I think someone else dodged too.
Yeah. And so this is it. This is the crucial moment. We'll see if England's able to survive. And Reese unfortunately not going to happen. It looks like France going to get last though. They'll be 3 of the bottom 4. As Flo's able to pull ahead of somebody on the line. So this is a crucial moment here for England. Oh man,
top 2,
7, 8, bottom 2. It could have been good, but it really wasn't.
Yeah, probably going to be losing by just a little bit for England, I think.
And yeah, they're who do you call it? They're on their last lifeline now. I think they're still mathematically in it, and it is a tie race. We're getting word, so 68 points is the difference here, with 2 to go. And so, is it going to be coming home? We're going to need a big miracle here for England. France 1 race away from clinching their spot in the semifinals against the United States next weekend, as they just need to avoid a minus 28 or worse. And they're going to go to DP or Bone Dry Dunes to do so. England scrambling now, looking for any bit of hope they can. And so, as I believe Royal had to dip from the booth, and so we'll be back here with our race 11 here, Mario Kart Deluxe World Cup quarterfinal. France 1 race away from clinching a spot. England holding on, trying everything they can. After that top 6, they were unable to do anything after Rainbow Road. They got bottom 6, and ever since then they haven't won. So we will see. It's going to come down to DP3, a track where shock is absolutely huge. But you wanna try to sprinkle your spots throughout the track, as we'll see. We see early. I think that's an English member in last place. So going forward immediately, which I do think is the right play, given that they're down and they need a big race for sure. I know Royal, being the more expert player than myself, might say otherwise, but I do like how they have somebody in the back. It looks like a 1-3 now. Reese going to be holding Shrooms. I would presume he's going to use it as a green shell coming in from I think that was Floaks, unable to connect. And yes, the top two. As welcome back, Royal. We're here in lap 2.
Yeah, sorry about that. I had a visitor. This is also one of the tracks that's a little tougher for inward. It's tough to take the NISC, and it's tough to just take some of the turns on the slippery water right here.
But the top two going to be massive here. Is Floaks looks like he could pass because he does have that Shroom. We'll see if Xander makes any play on him. And this is going to be huge. If Floaks is able to take out Xander, this could be game. And yeah, he did.
It looks like he was able to. And he goes for the double here. Smart play.
Yeah. Oh, almost getting back, but Reese and the shot coming in late. Ooh, and nobody dodged. I think people stopped the set.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be an England shock for sure.
Yeah, we do see Jobo. Oh, and Flo's getting cut out. So is England still alive? We'll see if they're coming up. As you see, that looks like a bottom 2. If that's a bottom 3 for France, I think it might be.
We saw Reese and Ryans get 9-10.
Oh, that's a top 2 again, but that's all they're able to do. And that, folks, is going to be game. England put up a valiant effort in this game too, but France just, once again, too strong. And it is unfortunately not going to be coming home this year for England. And congratulations to France. You'll be moving on to play USA with Royal, of course. Hopefully we get to see you on the track in the semifinal next weekend.
Hopefully.
And yeah, so is there anything France can improve on? I mean, are they going to be good enough to beat Japan? I know they have to beat USA first, but
yeah, I don't really know. I don't think, and I'm not saying this like, but I think that France should just focus on USA first. Because if you try and get too far ahead of yourself, then you'll get tripped up and lose.
True.
Maybe. So
that's a fair point. Actually, when I made my prediction as soon as the bracket came out, I predicted USA beating France in the semis, so we will see if that is going to happen. But congratulations to England for making this run. They end up losing in the quarterfinal for the 2nd straight World Cup. So unfortunately, I know they were disappointed for that, but they still had some strong showings, including a 316-point win versus Brazil in this tournament. And I think if there's anything they want back, it's that game versus Spain.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the remaining matches this weekend. Unfortunately, I won't be able to commentate any of them. Yeah, but it's okay.
I think I'm getting people in the chat are saying Japan already won 2-0, unless they're just predicting it. I don't know, but because I know that match wasn't. It was
they're talking about the Mario Kart Wii one probably.
Okay.
Yeah, because someone said what was the result of Japan versus Nordic.
Okay, gotcha. So, let's see. I know the US Mario Kart Tour team is pretty strong. I don't really follow the game too much, but
yeah, me neither, dude. I saw like Costa Rica or someone on top 8. I was hype.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely a good showing from England. Probably not the result they wanted. Definitely didn't want to get matched up against nice snipe against France round 1, but
yeah, it is what it is. And look at their snipe. Ooh, got him. Floaks is on fire here. He's just warming up for the semifinal. You better watch out, USA, because he can do it all.
Yeah, he can niche and he can. Yeah. So, what are your predictions for the rest of the weekend for Canada versus Japan and Mexico, Spain?
Yeah, I made my prediction as soon as the bracket came out, kind of boldly. I predicted a USA win, which did happen. I predicted a France win, which did happen. Japan win. I think they're gonna win by. I'm afraid they're gonna win by like 160. Hope we'll see if Canada are able to make some noise there. And then the last match, Spain Mexico, will be interesting because I know a lot of good friends in both those nations. I just think Spain is just stronger on paper, and
Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see.
I
I know
am
you
going to
guys play
have to
Mexico a
agree
lot.
with you.
But, yeah. But yeah, congratulations to France for making it to the semifinal for the. I think it's their fourth tournament in a row they've done so. So big congrats to them. England unable to come back today. Put up a good fight in game 2, but ended up losing by about 70. And do you have any final words before we get off the air here?
I just want to say thanks everyone for the support. The chat was relatively civil, which was pretty epic.
Thank you for that. Thanks for joining the cast as well.
Yeah, my pleasure. I unfortunately have to leave pretty soon, so I'm glad I was able to get at least one. But I didn't know if this was going to game 3, I probably wouldn't have been able to.
Gotcha.
But yeah.
Thanks for everyone for bearing with us that first solo cast we had to do. Big thanks again to Iric and I forget again the other host that did the last match. You can remind me, Iric, real quick. Kjeld, yes, Kjeld came in clutch because we were kind of scrambling for a stream host. So thank you so much for coming in for that. And yeah, until the next match, I was joined by Royal. I'm Josh K. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Before we go, big shout out to Josh K. holding it down with the solo cast. Well done.
I try.
Pretty good.
Yeah, here's the remaining schedule. Actually, should be up to date. Looks like our next match is going to be a Japan-Ecuador MK Tour match. Actually.
Yeah.
Oh, so that'll be interesting. I might tune in for that. Actually, I don't know. So,
if you like us, ignore the edge. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're being told to ignore Japan versus Norway because that already happened. So.
Yeah.
If you like us, if you like Josh and myself, you can follow us on Twitter at Josh_KMK at Royal264. Let us know what we did that was good, what we did that was bad, or yeah. Whatever.
Appreciate it. And I think with that, we'll be tuning out. So thanks again, everybody, and we will see you on the next